today is a reunion, though whether it's a happy one or not is yet to be decided. When Spacestation completely overhauled itself in 2023, most of its original players were let go. Now, one of those players is back in the same lobby, but wearing Big Red instead of Big Orange. Spacestation and Wildcard have their second match of the day, and Bosco finally gets a match against the team that dropped him more than a year ago. Welcome to the last game of the day for NAL Day 6. I'm Jacob, he's Laxing, he is Jesse. Bosco is back in a lobby with Spacestation. It's just not with Spacestation. That kind of feels weird to say.
I was gonna say, do you think it's that personal though? Like, it's only one person on that team.
I guess it depends on to him whether it's personal or not.
Yeah, I mean, he's still going up against like Fault, and he's also got Rampy on him. In some sense, this is more Space Station than Space Station.
Against Space Station, yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
yeah.
You know?
This is actually kind of weird. It's
I
like
think
one
Rampy might have a little more beef, but I think Bosco's probably like,
yeah, I could see that.
I'm gonna win today.
He also did say he had about a year to cool off too. This is what the standings currently suggest. By the way, if Wildcard were to get a full 3 points over Space Station in this game, 6 points on the day would jump them from a current 8th place standing all the way up above Beast Coast into 4th. Again, they've not played as many games as other teams in the league, but that would be a huge catch-up if they were to get both wins in one day.
Absolutely. And again, all those points, everyone is still so close. Like, it obviously looks like people are pairing up in certain positions, but one game can literally propel you 3 ranks above.
Yeah.
It's insane when you look at it from that perspective.
It's funny, in the last interview, we heard Gomez talk about how these group stage games aren't important. And yeah, they're not important when you're sitting with like 15 points at the top of the standings. But for everybody else, these games are very important because top 6 is critical. If you don't get that, you have to go through the LCQ.
Yeah.
Problems for teams like Space Station, when you lose close games to teams like M80, you need to have a pretty blowout performance against a team like Wildcard. But for Wildcard, when you beat Los, who themselves look pretty hot, it's like it's an interesting situation for both teams to enter given where they started and what they stand to lose if they can't make the most of a doubleheader advantage today.
I mean, it's when you look at both teams in comparison, Los and Wildcard, they're paired up pretty well together.
Sure,
look at M80, SSG, they're paired up with pretty well together. Obviously, each team here one loss, 1-1. But I think the biggest factors in terms of overall, like, who took the bigger loss, I think SSG took the bigger loss here.
They definitely did, and I think for them, there's more things that we can identify and try to fix because now they've suffered 2 losses so far this week. They're trying to make sure it's not a third. To go from 4-0 to 4-3 in the space of 48 hours would be a really tough reality to sit with. But that consulate game against M80 sucks to lose, especially the way that it went down.
Yeah. Oh, you want to go?
Go for it.
Go nuts.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, it's it was a tough loss nonetheless. And for me, a lot of these situations came from more so the fact is they just didn't look like the team that we were seeing throughout this stage in general. They looked a little confused in some areas. They did have good plays, but to me, I just wasn't impressed from what they originally had been doing from previous matches was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough just because the last couple of losses from Space Station have kind of felt this way, where it's really little things that are kind of throwing them off. Against Los, a lot of it was like the util play couldn't really get into the building oftentimes with the breach. Then you play that last game, they're on consulate against M80, and there's some crazy Amaru stuff going on. There's a lot of little plays that you're getting caught off guard by, like little aggressive match things that are coming through. So I'm sure they're frustrating games for Space Station to lose, but on the other hand, I don't think they're like huge fundamental problems that we're seeing from Space Station.
Sure.
The same way that we are in, some of the top teams who are struggling like Dark Zero, and even to an extent the Sonics.
We tried to identify a couple things in the green room. If we were to say anything to Space Station, what could they fix to be better? There were a couple things we thought of. Maybe some utility player drones could be better. We're specifically hoping that Fultz can continue a reliability streak from years past and bring it onto this version of the team. There's a few things we thought of. We're just hoping it translates today.
Yeah, and those are the important things, though. These are very simple things that can be switched. It's not like an entire team is just horrible and you're trying to figure out what you really need to fix. Like, if it's just a utility problem, it's a communication issue, it's just not using your gadget,
right.
Ashen, not using Jackal.
Damn.
But it's simple things like that. It's a lot easier to fix of going into the next game. It's just to be more focused, to be more alert, and be just more attentive to the things that you need to be focused on.
Sure.
Yeah, and I think that, we've seen some strengths from them. I think Faults has been pretty reliable so far, but it's just about keeping sure that can stay up.
Wildcard's a different story. They came in after a week break, decided to play Los on Oregon, and it worked out. We were a little questioning of that map pick, at least to start with, but we'll see how it translates in a doubleheader because they haven't had to do doubleheader duties since stage 2 of last year.
Yeah, I think for Wildcard, this is a team that obviously struggled in the first week. It took a long time to get that W. I'm really hoping that we can see them play with confidence today because they beat Los earlier in the day. They managed to get that big win on Oregon. Now for them to come back, they're going to be facing a much tougher opponent. So if you warm up on one team, that's great. You get that W, but you need to now make sure that that can continue on to a harder opponent against Spacestation.
We only had the 1 point for them, by the way. Don't throw 1v3s to Amaru. That was the only thing.
That Amaru play was pretty important. And not to say, I mean, Rise played it beautifully nonetheless. I mean, he had some pretty nasty flicks there and played the shotgun to the best of his ability and obviously clutched it out. So it's a pretty key point to make, you know, note of.
I'm sure Meepy in the back will probably say more advanced things than we are, but if the core of it is Wildcard just need to make sure they don't throw huge kills, and that's basically easy enough. But they're playing Oregon for the second time today?
Well, that means the exact same Amaru clutch could happen on Kith once again. So it is still possible. If Rampy's still playing in the basement and they see that opening, hey.
I mean,
that's not a good look on your face.
Vasco said it best. Like, it's Oregon. There's nothing that Los could have done that was going to surprise them. They knew what they needed to do, and they obviously countered Los or just played their game in that. But now you're playing the map again, and again, there's not really anything that you can change, but SSG is going to have that information of what you did so they can counterplay specifically on attacks and how to redirect an attack if it's not going a certain direction, or just key figure, you know, where certain people are on the map to be able to move around, like you were saying, what Los did with Rampy.
Yeah, I think if they can, this is still an advantage for Spacestation. I know it's Oregon and it's like, it is the default map, but I think being able to see your opponent play this map so recently, there's like nothing they could have changed. So I do really think that they should be able to hamper down those positions.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it is the same map, so it's Oregon's default.
Who takes it though? Foxy's already said Spacestation. He's locked in. Lax, do you go with Wildcard hoping to jump back up the ladder? What do you do?
I mean, you already see the W there, you know.
You're doing the same bit from earlier.
Just gonna have to go with Wildcard. I see a visor on that SSG screen. It ain't doing nothing for me. It looks like a little analog stick, little controller.
That's literally what they tried doing with the logo. That is what it is.
That's the point.
Oh,
and I'm playing the game here, and I see
most
a dub
observant
right
analyst
there.
I've ever worked with.
Oh, that's a sideways B for the better team. Space Station Gaming, taking the
We're stretching reality so hard right now.
I'm
oh
going
my god.
better team momentum.
Cool. Does the visor in Space Station stand for better? Hey, Carter, do me a favor. Can you take the Space Station shirt off so you don't curse them into oblivion this time? Thanks. Have fun casting.
Well, I'm not wearing anything under it, so I don't know if we want to. I don't know if that's how we want to end the night. I don't know if that'd be good for my career personally.
I will
say,
you know, you can't have your shirt off on Twitch now. Now, would Blast appreciate that on their broadcast, Carter? I don't know. That's the thing.
I don't know about all of you. I like being employed, so I will keep my shirt on. But I have my own hypothesis. You know what I think the B in SSG stands for?
What?
I think it stands for blowout. Because going back to Oregon after Wildcard, to be fair, looked solid earlier, especially their attacks, looking much improved from when we saw them last. But going against Los, very different team on Oregon than I imagine SSG will be. And SSG also, at least in our minds, being a bit stronger of a team than Los is, despite Los beating SSG 7-5 yesterday. We don't need to talk about that. I think this is a bit of a gamble, and I think Wildcard, I don't think their run continues here, at least today.
I think it is somewhat of a gamble. And, you know, I think it's honestly, I think there's good notes for each team, honestly, coming to Oregon. Wildcard obviously showed us earlier that they're more than capable of playing this map. But as Bosco said himself, it's Oregon at the end of the day. Basically, everybody knows how to play this map, or, you know, at least the parameters at which you're supposed to go about it. Now, the thing is, for Space Station, they've had a few complicated days here. Today has not been the greatest, at least to start. A max regulation game up against M80, obviously losing 7-5, given the max regulation part of that. And now bringing things down up against Wildcard here on Oregon. The thing that I really like about this, especially with Iconic being at the helm and being the one calling, is that we can go back to exactly what I said earlier. It's Oregon. Everybody knows how to do this. This is going to be some common ground where potentially SSG and Iconic are going to be able to mesh extremely well and find a really good stride to get them off this losing streak.
It's also a map that, at least historically, is pretty solid for SSG. I believe they're 2-0 on it at SI. I think they also only played it, I think, once at Atlanta. Also won it, if I do recall correctly. That is stretching a bit further back down my, recall in the moment. But SSG, of course, might have a good record on Oregon. As you said, it's Oregon as well. A lot of teams probably at one period of time have had a good and a bad record on this map because it doesn't change a whole lot. It could be in your pool one day, and then all of a sudden you lose it a few times in a row, and it's not your next.
Yeah,
But
Oregon's like vanilla ice cream, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know what you're going to get. If you like vanilla, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Maybe you go through a vanilla phase, maybe you don't. Either way, at least to start, the big concern I have for Wildcard is they were able to counter Los earlier. And specifically, Los's ability to win a lot of really key fights in the late round. Which, to be fair, a lot of SSG's rounds, they are able to bring back from a 4v5. They aren't great on the opening duels this stage. So I think there are some parallels here. My rhoticism came back. That Wildcard could end up making work again. If you have SSG trying to get aggressive in the late round, you were able to counter Los earlier. Maybe it works out here. But I think SSG coming off that loss, I think it's going to happen a little differently. You have a bit more experienced of a roster here. You have a team that has played a lot of these players on Oregon before, and as the desk mentioned, saw Wildcard play earlier today. Whether it's attack or defense, no matter the sides, I think SSG, with that experience, with a bit of that higher play that we've seen, I think SSG might be able to take it. Of course, we'll have to see. I'm also just more curious if if Wildcard can make those attacks work, man, because it was good earlier. But can they make it happen twice in one day on the same map? I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough task. And, I'll say this very early on. I think that there is a chance for Wildcard to win this game. But in the long run, I definitely see a higher ceiling for Space Station and what they got going on with this roster right now. There might be a few rumblings, a few mishaps that happen specifically in this game. I mean, that's why I'm not counting Wildcard out. We have so many veteran talents from across every generation of Siege at this point on this roster. It's truly incredible, especially for Bosco. Bosco has been playing some of his best Siege in recent history. And that's really great for him, especially for taking a long break and kind of taking that look in the mirror and being like, you know what? This is something that I want to come back to.
And I also think, Kansan, we have to talk about him on Wildcard as well. One of the big points that are constantly in Wildcard's column, even when they weren't Wildcard last year and they're under Mirage, Kansan's still one of the best players on this entire roster. Can will games over the line in the case of that Beast Coast game, where he dropped a ridiculous 24 kills. He has to be said as having an impact, and he did earlier on attack and defense, looking really solid for this Wildcard team. Starting out in basement, I think we also believe in Wildcard enough that they can play this site as it should be played. Holding out in the defense in the 5v5, stalling out SSG's time. And one thing I think we have to mention, we didn't really touch on the operator vetoes because we immediately went into the tech pause. But as we see, Grim and Ying off the board. Two operators that, in my mind, are synonymous with attacking basement strategies that make this site a lot easier to attack. Both of those off the board.
They're very synergistic, and their ability to remove people from play, especially in Ying's, regard, where she's able to stun things out. You really can't obviously do much when you can't see. It's really solid utility for, an assault like this. So I think it's a great idea to try and remove this out. I specifically am more focusing on the Clash ban because I think that is a beautiful, beautiful ban out of Wildcard. Not only is it something that a lot of teams really favor, especially when it comes to some of these more difficult sites, especially where teams feel more prone to go for that execute or just more comfortable at getting their initial things out of the way. Things like Master. Clash really good at that. And being able to take that away from SSG is something that we could definitely see be potentially problematic down the line. Wildcard not going to lose any bodies, at least initially. They're using this Azami extremely well, especially with that implication that we saw on stage. Spiker, actually, to take down Ashen, as I believe he swings in the top of Freezer Stairs.
Is that the top freeze? We saw Spiker in security earlier as well. I'm curious if he had the hatch open, if he did rotate top freeze like you just mentioned. No, hatch is open. Wow. So, bit of an aggressive look from Wildcard. We saw the presence from the Solos on backstairs earlier, but with the freezer hatch open, Spiker now dropping, and that's the Hibana taken down. There's still some hard breaching on the board for SSG. They've got the two hard breach charges for Foltz, but that's all you're going to get. And obviously, he should be able to get them no problem. Also, a bit of an interesting note, Sam. The only other secondary utility, 6 smoke grenades. I have not seen that many smokes in a while, if I have ever.
It definitely begs the question as to where they're going to put these things, because there is no Warden on the defense, but vice versa. There's no Glass or really anybody to try and manipulate that on the offense either. So this might just be hell in a handbasket at the end of the day. We're just going to have to see. And that's the beauty of moments like this. You really don't know. We can guess about, 6 ways from Sunday, but it's all up to SSG here as the smoke starts to pour in, and some smokes of the defense's own as well. So probably not going to be getting too much action, at least for the next 10. But as I say that, Forrest and Fultz are going to shut me up. And J9O, he bullies his way into sight.
Yeah, makes his way on in. Doesn't have the diffuser. He's instead just creating space for Forrest. But with the pistol, he's able to find one. No cut down by Bosco. The smoke running as wildly as he can. He actually puts Fultz down to 1 HP. This is winnable for Kansan. He's made his way through Freezer. SSG opening the bomb site wide open. But now a bit exposed. Impact goes out. Takes Forrest off the diffuser, but Kansan's found the timing. He's found his way in. He's got the flick on the Fultz and the backstab onto Forrest. Brings the first round on defense back. And you wanted the second highest rated player in the NAL to show up? Well, there's your first round for Wildcard.
Incredible stuff out of Kansan. And, just showing how solid of a player he is, and a testament to what he's been able to do so far this stage. A round right there that SSG are most desperately going to want back. They have a lot going for themselves in that moment, and kind of a miscalculation on where he's going to potentially swing through. Able to make so much progress up that freezer hallway and isolate those 1v1s. Pretty sparky manner. Wildcard with a beautiful round there through and through from start to finish. I will say this, though. SSG with a fantastic concerted effort over towards the electrical side that really gave Wildcard problems, especially with that initial volley of kills. And J9O just being more than willing to push the envelope and work his way all the way into sight. And not only that, Carter, but also get aggressive with it too. He slides the shield and starts taking gunfights. I mean, it looked like an SSG round, didn't it?
It looked like an SSG round. Also looked like one of the classic blitz pushes we often see on that side, except with the Monty. Making use of that shield change, knowing that Monty, not in the same way, but can very well create space in the same way you'd have a blitz, sprinting in, then having the attack flood in behind him. But I think also SSG getting that kill on the player playing on the bunker doorway, playing around the Harry Potter position. It allows J9O to go in for that play and allows him to create that space. A really inventive flood into the site, built off the backup, to be fair, taking down that player bunker doorway. Can't really happen as effectively if that kill doesn't go SSG's way. We don't often see the Monty make that play or the shield to sprint into site itself instead of up the bunker hallway. So, could have been SSG's round, but it's still Wildcard with that 1v2 from Kansan. And still an overall aggressive stance taken by Wildcard early on. Spiker getting that opening pick, contesting control off the site. To be fair, they do the same here, but then 45 seconds in, pull back very quick. Forrest also entered the building very quickly as well, and he's taken a good position for himself. Holding the meeting hatch, making sure nobody can push far up inside of Attic. Aggressive stances taken by both teams, but we return to normalcy within the first minute.
Equilibrium, my friend. Something we usually rest on Siege for a little while, especially at this halfway point on a map like Oregon, too. Try and get these initial walls open. Things going to start off over on the Attic side. SSG did have some presence over near Master, and we'll have some on the mid-level too. Forrest with a hard read on the player over in Kitchen, but they'll immediately head for the hills as Rampy not going to try and give them a kill this early.
It's good for Rampy. Dokubi call going out, though. Gonna ring in Ashen's ears to be sure. Call now silenced. Ashen knows that Legion is somewhere over here, but with Diffuser, he doesn't want to be the one to take that 1v1. So Rampy will slip back. Kansan will try to bring him back in. SSG aren't able to get this kill just yet. Still trying to grasp for that control, still trying to push for a little more. Minute left now, and they don't have a whole lot. Progress over on the Attic side. We've seen J9O try to open that wall. Forrest now with the skeleton key below can maybe make something happen, but again, it's Wildcard with the first pick, but Iconic with the second. The Wildcard maintained the advantage. Though Iconic with a nice kill of his own. Will be able to open it up completely inside of the site, maybe.
Triple kill for him. Rampy, he's at least going to be able to take up the rear. White Stairs the savior for now, and it's down to Forrest in a 1 versus 2. There's one over near Attic, but not the angle. That's right through the wall for kids. Spiker will be able to decimate him. So very well done. They'll be able to stand tall on that top floor defense. Befuddling SSG. Wildcard, He's coming to play for these 2 initial rounds. Space Station, not with a lot to say. Hopefully, Lynx, are you there?
I'm good right now. I just
Oh.
saw.
Maybe you're not too good. Maybe you're not too good.
I was about to say, I was good for a moment, but I'm keeping an eye on that connection, and it's buffering a little too often for me. You know what's funny, Sam? Quick aside. I was having this issue earlier, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna replace the Ethernet cable. I'm gonna replace the coax cable. Sam, it was not the Ethernet cable. The coax cable. It wasn't opportunity.
Yeah. I could tell. Yeah. No, for sure. It's gonna sound strange, but I do believe you. You know.
You believe me? It's not working.
Yeah. Yes, I do. Hopefully, your landlord or whatever, your ISP, they get things figured out, because that is an
life, I'll tell you that
abomination
much.
of internet. I don't even know if what you have can count as broadband by the new standards, as they just adjusted that to being 100 down and 100 up, guys. So make sure you guys contact your ISP provider. Let them know that, hey, you're giving me broadband, but it doesn't actually calculate as broadband anymore. Anyways, moving on to the point of round 3, and Ashen getting a beautiful kill to start things off on Vert of everything. I'm very surprised by that. More than likely giving an initial look, and another kill going the way of Space Station. Folt's giving a little extra sauce to his ex-teammate too. And so far, not so good for Wildcard on this initial moment that they've had inside of round 3. Oh man, it's just terrible. It's just so not good. And not only that, Lynx, this has to happen to us at the tail end of the day, right? I'm tired. I don't have the energy to cast for 2. Truly incredible, guys. I'm telling you. Just sometimes what the universe does to you. But we will persevere, folks. That's what we do. We wake up, we accept what happens to us. Space Station with 2 nice picks so far. Wildcard, they're going to have to try and rebuff things, but it's really going to be down to the understanding of positioning from Space Station, what they want to do. Do they want to try and get things done on this master side? Do they want to try and apply pressure in from double? As of right now, it's pretty obvious. Nothing's really happened over on the dorm side of things. Spiker knows that there's a player inside of Trophy, but it's going to be Kansan to strike first onto J9O. Wildcard with 2 big finds in the current moment. Just keeping things open, keeping things wide, especially when it comes to a kitchen meeting defense. This is very important. You have that player upstairs that's doing a good job of distracting some SSG members, have some other active things going on. Try and wear them thin, and that's what's happened here. They've gotten it down to the 3 versus 3. SSG now have to completely reinvent themselves in the moment, try and understand how they're going to go about things with not nearly as many guns alive. Let's dip over to Lynx to have a check-in on the internet connection. He's literally dead. It's so Jover for me, guys. I'm sorry. I promise you, I am not trying to talk this much. Oh my, I actually can't win anything. I'm taking over the last 40 seconds. Don't speak, because Bosco's got a triple kill, and the old Stokes that was a fan of a beautiful SSG roster, he's smiling pretty wide right now. It's down to Ashen in a 1 versus 3. He doesn't have a candle to hold to Wildcard's light. We're probably gonna have a timeout after this, and by God, Carter, if you speak words during this timeout, I will eviscerate you. Ashen? What are we doing here? We're swinging, we're going, we're doing, nothing happens. Kansan with a huge kill. Very well done. Into the SSG timeout. Let's see what they got to say.
Let's just get the first picks and it completely reset the round. Like let's play the round like as it is.
We did that. No, listen.
No.
We need to count the buys.
I kept going, bro. No, I kept going after.
Listen, fellas. What we're gonna start doing right now is we're not in sync when it comes to these middle of the rounds right now. We're getting advantage. We're not closing out the round because we're not in fucking sync. So we're gonna start getting a hard reset every time we get an advantage here. You're gonna see the anchor right now on the basement side. Do what we talked about often. Next time they go kids, do our base. We have to have the west side pressure. I don't know what the fuck that was last time we went on the kids attack. We gotta have the west side pressure. You do not need any piece for the tower, so all they're doing is jamming, right? It's gonna be the same shit again when we go back kids. Get the west side pressure when the guy flows in the dining, set off the meeting side pressure, kill him. It's that simple, okay? And then after that, we can go into our base, displace kids side, and go through that clear. We need to work displace in all these rounds right now. When they go back to meeting, quite literally just do our clear, do what we talked about doing. Liam, we're not gonna go for splits outside, we're gonna go straight for top floor on that, and just work across the top of the map. For the anchor, just do what we talked about in prep. It's that simple, fellas. You gotta do a detach rater. We gotta stay on the same page related to these rounds. We're spazzing out right now. Gotta calm it down a bit. Keep the comms low.
I think a great call there from Space Station is Lynx. Are you there? Oh, you should be more than scared. it's already happened. it's already infected you, son. This is just unfortunate. But hey, you know what, folks? That's home broadcast sometimes. That's what happens. So it is what it is. We will once again persevere. We will get through this. So, but getting back to the point, SSG's timeout there. Very well done. The main thing that I want to call out here is how chaotic things were when we initially got into that timeout and what call out did to immediately hush everybody up. The respect that these players have for this man, you can see even Iconic coming back onto things. You can see how much his time on Astralis and his relationship to call out exactly what it stands for. Is they just all immediately shut up. They all calm down. They want to hear what this man has to say, and I think he lays it out pretty plainly. So I'm not gonna try and reinvent the wheel here and recreate what call out said. There's a lot of things that aren't going SSG's way. They're getting advantages, but not being able to do much with them. So it's really down to being able to try and exploit Wildcard in the later portions of this round. Let's see what they can do with round 4 ahead of them, as Forest is going to don the blitz. Also going to have J90 on the Monty. What's up, baby?
I stepped out. I did some reps. Boys, I think we're back.
Yo.
I pay $100 for super fast internet. I'm sorry. I just have to give me 10 seconds. I have replaced the coax cable, the Ethernet cable. I have called Xfinity, and well, not mid-broadcast, but earlier. Either way, I think I'm back now. So Sam, I'll take a little bit from you, okay?
Thank you for the reprieve.
I'll take. Hey, I'm tagging you out. The next 40 seconds is mine. We have a Monty push. Okay. And actually, as I'm getting my no, don't take me away. No! They're stealing me away, Sam. They're trying
I just looked down at my notes. I started reading. I tune out for 2 seconds, and I just start to hear
They're silencing me.
The iDog from 2006 speaking through the microphone. It's so ridiculous, but that's okay. Once again, everything's gonna be fine, guys. SSG, they're gonna Habana open the hatches. Well, can opener action. So far, so good when it comes to the drone play. Haven't been confronted, by Wildcard like we were in previous rounds where we had Spiker on that more aggressive angle over inside of security. So all things going swimmingly, at least for the SSG camp for now. They still have a lot of these X-Kairos for Ashen's sake. He's going to continue to apply those to try and make some angles for the Boiler side. These smokes will start to come into play too for the defense. SSG with a few things still to read out. Not a lot of drone work can be done, and obviously no extra utility in that regard, especially with Iconic's utility now burned. Wildcard will be able to exchange. What a moment there for Vertical. I don't even know how he's able to get that to go off. ×2, and Wildcard, oh my goodness. They take the round away from Space Station, and this is just unprecedented. This is not what I expected as we loaded into this map. Yes, it is defense for WC, but man, what a time to be alive for the Red.
Sam, I've just gone away. They're trying to kidnap me. No, they're taking me again.
I think you're patching in. I think the grapevine's working.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk slowly. Really slow. Basement defense. SSG flood. We saw the game earlier. Wildcard can hold the site if you flood in and don't clear them. Without ops, like Grim or Ying, SSG
This is beautiful.
are struggling. Shut up. Are struggling to dislodge the Wildcard anchors. Have I done it?
You sound like the average American trying to explain something to somebody that doesn't speak English.
Was it intelligible?
It was indeed, and you still are. So you could have technically picked up the pace a little bit, but honestly, I think your delivery was picture perfect. Part of all the times that we've casted, this might be the time that I call back on most to my grandchildren.
Sam, what if I did play-by-play that way?
I would literally die. That is what would happen.
Well, to start, it's Dorm Sam. Okay? I've actually just noticed how poor the kill count is for SSG.
It is not good, buddy.
Wow.
Ashen and J9O, the two heartbeats of this team when it comes to the frag department, are not here right now. Please leave a message after the beep.
And I'm the answering machine. I'm the robot.
I'm not going to laugh. Oh, man.
C4.
Yep.
Pre-placed. Prep. Lineup.
Still a lot to do for SSG here, especially in this downstairs hold. Got to play over in showers to try and make things a little bit more complicated for SSG working their way in on the small tower side. Also have that player in kitchen with a decent crossfire, can try and assist with Forrest's position. Forrest now a known quantity. So it get pretty awkward for both parties respectively. Anzen, he knows this. He's going to try and go for the adjustment. He'll come up the kitchen hallway. Impact out. Logi bomb constantly going off in his back pocket to Forrest, though. He'll get gunned down, and some potential for Kansan to try and pick up Rampy, but not too much. Did see that player from SSG over on Big Tower Stairs, and Kansan, he knows that this is more than likely an unsolvable problem. He's going to back off, and Bosco is actually going to deliver the next killing blow. Will end up taking down Iconic, and Space Station simply cannot buy around on the offensive front.
No. They could buy me a new internet package. That'd be ideal, but
Starlink?
calling the satellite. 3v3. I actually noticed. So, in a very ironic twist of fate, whenever I start talking, that's when the connection worsens. I think I have a stable line, so let me deliver you an important message live to you. It's a 3v3. It's 3v3. Wildcard holding onto their positions once again as SSG struggling to mount and execute, struggling to find the proper positions. They've got the firebolts. They can nail down to the right of that window. Ashen also making his way into top white, but Kansan still running amok amongst the SSG attack. J9O can't find the gap. Maybe Ashen can. He's made his way into Gen. He's taken a little bit of damage. He's been spotted. He's been finished off. 5-0 for Wildcard. They might just have Oregon in the bag.
Love that transcontinental accent that you worked in there. That's pretty well done. All you needed was the carbon microphone, and you're in your bag.
Everybody, I know SSG are down 0-5 right now. Forrest literally has the light of God in his face with that monitor. Let's just applaud. I got through a segment. Maintained connection the whole time, baby. I have never been more back.
I better see Pog Champs all over the Twitch chat. If I don't...
I never look at chat when I'm casting, but you all better be losing your mind right now.
And if not, you're all banned. I've already talked to the admins.
True.
It's over for you. It's so over. Just like somehow this game is, it feels that way at least when you look at the score line and you just go, what the hell? Like that's your first reaction, right? It's like, Space Station, where are you?
Listen, it's like, that's the thing, is like, I will say, to be serious for a second in a night that has been anything but, I do feel bad that of all the times for this matchup the internet issues to happen, it's actually during a pretty remarkable match for Wildcard. Obviously a poor performance for SSG so far, but 5-0 on the defense against a team that has been looking very strong on both sides statistically going into today is obviously a good statement for Wildcard and should be commended for that. I mean, Bosco, insane performance 9-2, and I think emblematic of the fact that not only is Kansan doing really well in the early game, but a lot of these rounds are being decided by the site players holding on, by even in the 3v3 or the 2v2, the anchors, the people still on the site, being able to pull that round over the line, which is where Bosco's scoreline comes in. So Wildcard have been performing really well on the defense. From beginning to end, they've been a complete package, albeit spearheaded by two strong performers representing both of those halves. Whereas SSG, on the other hand, I mean, again, still a very rough round on dorms, the execute not working out. As we go to meeting, I'm going to be honest, I can't really speak on this round because I was in the Shadow Realm, but they lost it. So they still need to win this one to get there first.
Okay. Space Station working in from the master side. We still have some Logi bombs. Selma out to try and dislodge vertical. It will back him off. He also has some X-Kairos here for his panels for the double window. So they're trying to crunch this top floor, and this is absurdly obvious. Bert's, though, going to try and play things out up here. His entire game plan is to try and get some assistance. They'll probably come in from white stairs. I think we just saw a player work his way up here. Yep, Rampy. and they're just going to try and get some solid kills, some solid aggression up against Space Station. Time and time again, Space Station has taken a decent amount of time. It hasn't been the whole factor for them, but it's been long enough where Wildcard have been able to reposition and get themselves set up for the take by Space Station. That's been giving them quite a few kills. And like Carter said, once SSG does break through sometimes, they still have to deal with Rampy, or rather Bosco, on the back end. And that has been such a huge problem for them. Sun's now out for SSG. It's getting close to the goods.
It is, but I mean, look at how much of a struggle this is. Fultz and Janino do get those picks, but they're down so low on the intel that SSG just barely come away with that advantage. The Forest gets it, gets the 3v1. Bosco finds another, dropping down the hatch. But that's his position given away. He's got to be careful he doesn't lose his life now, because even if so much damage done to SSG's intel economy, one drone remaining when they go in for that push, it's still Bosco in the disadvantage. Sprints in. He's made a lot of noise on that sprint. He has to win this fight against the Brava, and Force plays it safe. Hits the deck, hits the prone, hits the shots required. But still a 5-1 half for Wildcard. A dominant start on their defense. And this round, only but a blemish on that record.
Well, at least Space Station do get one round. It's now workable. That's the key thing. You're really worried when you switch sides on Oregon, especially, obviously, at a 6-0 deficit. That is not what you want. You want to at least be able to have something go awry and still be in it. And, well, SSG will at least be able to garner that. I think it's a really good concerted effort on the top floor with their ability to clear things out and get those big kills. Not only that, but a lot of pressure's also still boiling over to the bomb site where they're able to clear things out for a solid kitchen plant. Yeah, Bosco does get a flank off and he does kill Doak, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter all that much. It's too little, too late, and just much rather have him try and trade something out somewhere else. But sometimes that's just how it goes. You don't exactly think those other gunfights are going to go, so wrong for your team, and hey, things happen. So it's only going to be one round going the way of Space Station on their offensive front. Let's see it out for WC.
5 seconds left before insertion.
It is genuinely insane that if Wildcard win this in regulation, they will jump up to 3rd. Not like 6th, not 5th. They will jump up to 3rd if I'm right, because they'll be at 8 points. Ooh, I can't remember off the top of my head. Is head-to-head the first tiebreaker, or is it round differential? Can't exactly remember. Either way, they'll be tied for 3rd with Space Station, and round differential's the first. All right, thank you, production. I appreciate it. Speaking of which, Wildcard looking to break the stalemate, at least early on. They catch somebody on the back tower stairs, but they're not able to get the kill. That's fine. They powered a bit, they've acquired a bit of control, and they forced J&O back. Worse things have happened in the first 30 seconds of a round.
Almost definitely take it. I love this from Ashen, though. All the way up inside of Attic. There's no IQ on the offense either. Look, he knows everything. He knows exactly what this is looking like. 3 people on drones right now, and he knows that Wildcard are more than likely droning just beneath him at this current moment. Obviously, can see those drones too, but doesn't really have to try and stick on this too much now. It's a great read. You can translate that back to Space Station. You can try and deal with this in a different way as he'll work his way back across the top floor.
With that impact grenade, Spiker obviously wary. Wildcard as a whole, look at how much they've stacked up, or at least had stacked up on that big tower side. All 5 players over there. Obviously, going to change up a little bit. Bosco will go down to the bunker position, but with how strongly you were stacked on that side, SSG, no, you're not really going to go for a freezer laundry later in the round. You're not going to completely change things up. You want to go for this backside. That's indeed what they want to do. Flashbang's going in, Toxic Canister out. Great change of pace from Wildcard. The Adrenal Surge removes the blinding effect from the Finka. He actually fires a shot and cans it back, gives him good luck, sends him forth. Maybe it'll work. It's not Kansan with the picks, but it's Wildcard with the lead. 4v3 with Iconic on incredibly low HP. Forrest still holding bunker. Could deny control and maybe even get a kill if Wildcard aren't careful. Vertical ahead of the smoke. The flick doesn't work. So instead, it's the Finka to retake bunker and Wildcard to have the site encircled. Bosco with the diffuser, looking to push in. There's one C4 that could keep this alive. One C4 to deny the plant unless Iconic maybe gets 2, but he doesn't. A strong attack for Wildcard. And after their good attacks on Oregon earlier, it is looking ever more worrisome for SSG.
Hey, that's just great siege right there, baby. I mean, they get everything initially, Space Station really isn't doing too much with the mid and top floor, right? The only thing that really is a crease is that one position that we see up top for Ashen. But at the end of the day, does he really do that much? No. He stands there, he identifies where the push is initially looking to boil over from, and then he repositions all the way over to White Stairs. The key portion of this is Wildcard going for this execute and going for these moments of aggression once they have everything set up initially, Carter. Once they have everything open and they get that initial insight into what's going on downstairs, they try and capitalize on it. That's what we haven't seen out of a couple of other teams, where they do get that initial insight on, oh, there's a pillar position, oh, there's this, oh, there's that. They don't really have people, that are willing to make a play at that moment. And that's something that Wildcard did. I mean, I'm looking up at the board at 1 minute and 10 seconds. We've got Wildcard players that have not only already finished the initial volley back and forth that these two squads had, but are already collapsing on the site trying to take extra gunfights with Space Station. And, that's somewhat difficult on that basement site. Totally understand. But for Wildcard, that is a beautiful moment for them that can definitely show off some key veteranism.
And with that first attack as well, I mean, just up 6-1. You got 5 chances now. We saw they needed a little bit of a buffer earlier. They were able to get that lead over Los. Took a couple rounds to fully seal it out, but they were able to close that out in regulation, able to get that victory 7-4 after going up 5-2, 6-2. So even if they lose a couple here, they've proven that they can make that comeback from their opponents. Stop. They can call it when they want. They can end the game when they want, even if it takes a couple rounds to finish off. And with that standard today, the fact that you're at an even better scoreline than you were earlier, you've got to feel good as Wildcard, and you have to feel really bad as Space Station. You want to get aggressive. You want to make these plays. But look at how Wildcard are ready for it. The Selma goes out, and Bosco's just trying to bait it. So Forrest will fire off a shot, destroy the Selma, back up, and reinforce, and he's domed by Bosco! This man is not making incorrect reads today, and he's got the 5v4 for Wildcard.
So disgusting. And the beauty of Bosco's play always is that he isn't doing something insane. It isn't some Spoit level mechanics. He is just so good at being decisive in moments like this, understanding what the other player wants and what aggression they'll try and look to imbue into the situation. And instead, he's the one that comes out on top. Great moment there once again as Wildcard will be able to pull themselves ahead. Bolts is going to try and rebuff this scenario, but oh my, he's immediately gunned down by Cans and a Nitro Cell out by Iconic. He's murdered, and as you said, unless Ashen's got something in the bag, which he does not, it's all Wildcard all day. And 2 SSG members on Wildcard are going to be pretty happy about that.
And Sam, I figured out the cause of my internet woes. You know what it was?
What was it?
They were trying to stop you from seeing the truth. They were trying to stop you from seeing what this Wildcard roster could accomplish. 7-1 against Space Station. An even better win than they got against Los on the same map. Earlier in the day, a ridiculous performance from a team that, honestly, after those first games, Sam, I think a lot of us were writing off, and now writing off unfairly.
Yeah, you want to know something crazy? I'm looking over here to my monitor, and I'm looking at the main stats sheet on Liquipedia. Do you want to know what Wildcard just jumped to? 3rd place. They jumped to 3rd place, my friend, from 8th. They currently have 5 points. If you win a game, guys, that's 3 points. They're tied with Space Station, right? But then we go to round count, and Space Station had +4. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wildcard, by the way, just for the stat heads out there, -3 before this game started. So Wildcard jumping the entire field today to end up in 3rd place in the NAL.
And I mean, obviously, that was a bit of a silly
You can't write a better script, man. It's crazy.
You can't. And obviously, a bit of a silly last game, considering the fact that I literally wasn't present for half of it because of Xfinity trying to stop the public from seeing the truth. But overall, as Sam and I are done for the day, a very strange day of the NAL. Big teams losing, rookie teams ascendant. We got the desk to break all of those implications down for next week's Playdays.
It is a phenomenal day to be Team Red. It is a horrendous day to be Team Orange. For the team that was 0-2 in the doubleheader, you kind of want to forget that March 29th, 2024 even happened. But if you're Wildcard, who wins 2-0 in their doubleheader and climbed up 6 points in the standings, today is probably one of the best days those guys have felt in a long time. That potential that they had from being one map off of making Atlanta feels like slowly more and more it's being realized now.
I mean, I don't really have much to say. I knew this was going to be the result from the start of the day to the end of the day.
Pull the man's predictions back up again. He was the only one that said this. Again,
I guess
you went heavy on Wildcard twice.
I guess the B stood for bad.
I don't want to break. I don't even want to break it down because I just I see the W, and the W is just bound to happen. I mean, I'm even wearing the jersey right now.
Good
They immediately
grief.
flew it out to me. That's how much they needed my
They
support.
didn't feel it. He
to
pulled it off
choose
the
for
rack.
them.
We literally got to
I
use
may
the
or
rack
may not have
right
pulled
now.
it off the rack, but that's besides the point. You guys still owe me merch, so.
Well, Wildcard played well.
They did play well.
We
I
have
mean,
2 jerseys. You can just take one of them home with you.
No, I ain't doing that. I want them to send me it specifically.
Oh,
I
I see. It's the power gesture.
But to be all serious, Wildcard played extremely well. I don't want to downplay anything on their part. They played it beautifully, regardless of what we were talking about, SSG, knowing that what their setups look like, what they could be. It just looked like they really couldn't do anything about it.
What's the key here? We heard the timeout from Callout after round 3. And
I didn't. I was celebrating.
You were jumping up and down in the green room like, Jesse was wrong. But we also mentioned in the green room, every time Cams cut back to Space Station when they lost a round, it's like there was almost no reaction, like their hearts weren't in this game.
I knew for a fact, even watching back in games and just through experience, when you see the player cams and no one is just in it and it's kind of just like a whatever, it's chalked at that point. And this performance speaks in itself.
I got a question.
Sure.
No.
Where's the crank? This is supposed to be the team that cranks, right?
This is the team
I haven't
that
seen
got
it yet.
cranked.
They did.
Like,
I mean, this is the team that I feel like is struggling with so much of the parts of Siege that aren't just taking initiative, going in and getting those fights. I feel like previous weeks in Space Station, we saw them going in, taking that initiative, making sure they were in control in those rounds. Yet earlier today, and then yesterday, and then in this game as well, it feels like they're stumbling to get to that point. They're stumbling to be in the spot where they're confident and going in and taking those fights. It's always the pre-stuff to those moments where they're just falling apart. They're not able to get that the walls open or the roams cleared or whatever it is. And I don't know, it's frustrating to see because I feel like Space Station are a better team than this.
One of the bigger stumbles, not to cut you off.
no, you're good.
Ashen has usually been the standout player. We even in pregame today made a point to try to find something to talk about that wasn't Ashen, but now we kind of have to talk about Ashen for the wrong reasons. Is it just an Oregon thing that he was playing ops he wasn't used to?
I don't know what it was. I'm sure Oregon's part of it, if not the majority of it, right? But the operators he played on attack, usually Ashen's the Ash guy. We talk about Ashen on Ash. He goes in, he's the entry player. He only played Ash a single time through this map so far on attack. That was on a Dorms attack. Otherwise, he was playing Habana for the basement. He was playing Dokkaebi for meeting room, and he wasn't getting in and getting those kills, right? He wasn't able to find very much success in those fragging departments. He was trying to be a little bit more utility focused on some of those Dorms defenses. He even had the defuse kit, which I like that he can be flexible. I like that they're trying to utilize him in multiple different ways, but also I feel like it was working when he was just going out and cranking.
And I think it just goes into Oregon specifically. You're not really allowed to have that freedom to go around and do whatever you want.
It's more constrictive.
Yeah,
Like to Bosco's point, it plays the same.
Yeah, more often than not, you're running into 2 or 3 people that are staring at you down a doorway or down a hallway, whatever that looks like. So I don't want to discredit an Ash and say he just played bad because of that, but it's the maps. I like to think it's map dependent, in my opinion.
It's almost like Bosco stats from this game are what Ashen stats have been for almost every other map that doesn't include today.
No, I mean, Bosco was quite the performer, to say the least. I mean, 2 multi-kills, obviously 1 on an entry. I mean, the IGLing from him as well. I mean, it's a great performance from him.
And he's doing it on Habana Smoke.
Yeah.
So when you're playing these types of roles, not that Ashen was always on Smoke or anything, but when you're playing these more utility-focused operators, you still can find those big performances. We just weren't seeing it from Ashen today. We weren't seeing it from anybody today on Space Station.
There's some players, when they come out of retirement, sometimes we question if they've kind of got it. There's the MBKs of the world, which I don't want to harp on the dude. It's been a minute.
Shade.
But sometimes it happens like that. And then you have Bosco, who's doing his part to rewrite a good portion. He wasn't that hot at the end of his Space Station tenure. Look at how hot he seems to be right now.
I thought Bosco was going to be buns. I was buns when I came back, just playing ranked. I couldn't even imagine if I had to jump into a Pro League setting, but Bosco was like he never even left.
Yeah,
play.
it's playing fantastic. 12-5. I think even like when Wildcard were struggling, Bosco was a standout player who was like clearly, at least individually, having big moments. And so now the team is playing better as a unit. He's continuing to play well as an individual. It fits perfect. And this is the Wildcard that I was hoping to see at the start of the season. And it's a Wildcard that I think still could make a major run.
I want to ask Rampy, just out of curiosity, you've had 1 week that was total hellscape, and you managed to escape with a win just by the skin of your teeth. Second week, considerably better. So now, with the power of hindsight and a winning record in your back pocket, what was the biggest change you noticed from week 1 to week 2?
I mean, it was kind of what Bosco said in his last interview. It was just taking initiative and trusting like what we're seeing and just going off that. You can't really make anything perfect in this meta. And I think the first week was really kind of a testament to that, as we were trying to make stuff too perfect. And I kind of said that in my interview, is that we're kind of going through changes and trying to figure out how we want to change our style. And yeah, I mean, definitely felt like we accomplished that this week, and we're not even really, I mean, we're still in the process of doing that, you know, so still a lot more learning to do.
Well, I guess I was going to go into a question with what I was going to ask Rampy is, what was that difference? Because obviously we saw you guys' Mirage performance last stage, and you guys did have that resurgence and that big comeback that you were 1 game away from Atlanta. Then you had that big break, and now you guys came here again, and we had that high hopes, but obviously now you guys are finding that progression. What's been that biggest difference from that Mirage now bringing into Bosco and where you guys are at currently?
Yeah, I think it really starts with, I mean, getting Bosco is a big missing puzzle piece for us, just because we needed a hard breach and we wanted to take Spiker off it, and we needed somebody with experience and IGL experience, you know. And Spiker's the best. But yeah, I just think getting Bosco really helped us out, just like role-wise, and just made us more of like a real team, you know, and not just like having someone have to play the role because they kind of know how it's supposed to be played. It just really evened us out that way. And then Meepy's been also, you know, he's been working hard for us. So we're just excited. And same for Justin. Justin's our analyst, and you know, a lot of credit goes out to them because they also help us on the back
Shout out
end.
Justin, homie never gets love. Yeah.
I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
With Vert's team killing that tends to possibly happen, does he do that in scrims a lot as well?
We actually have a fun stat because we used to have a lot of team killing going on, so we kept a team kill counter in our Discord. Just anytime someone team kills, it goes in there.
Is Vert leading
But, hey,
that?
I actually don't know off the top of my head, but I think he could be.
Nah,
but,
no,
hey,
like,
if we're winning
listen,
rounds, that's fine by me.
The last game that you guys played, before this one, he impacted you underneath, and I was like, oh, Rampy's done for. Like, Vert is in his moment right now. Like, nobody is safe on the team.
I actually didn't even know that. I just knew I had to. I just knew I needed to get out of big window that round. That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
Well, you've now completed the doubleheader, right? You've completed your long day. You've gotten 2 big wins on the day in particular. Was that something that you were looking forward to coming in, especially after not playing yesterday, having a couple of games to get yourselves back up in the standings? Or do you find it difficult sometimes to play when it's such a long break between your 2 games?
I think from past experience, it's sometimes a little bit of a burner when you're kind of sitting back and kind of waiting for your game. Like I've had this happen at LANs, and sometimes most of the time it's actually costed our team. I always felt like we were slow starts on SSG, like very notorious for it. But I was something that we've been kind of like working really hard in practice of no slow starts and just getting right into it. And I mean, playing our best Siege and just really putting a lot of emphasis on that and just coming in with some energy. So I think we've been doing it the past couple, or at least this week, we've been doing it really well.
100%.
So just need to keep that going. And I heard you, Laxton, saying you thought Bosco was going to be buns. Bosco's one of the greatest. Bosco's one of the greatest players that has ever played this game ever. Like,
hey,
all time,
I teamed with him. I mean, we both won world championships with that guy. It's just he took 400
You
in
teamed
days.
within 7 years ago.
I mean, it's still.
For me, like, I've played with Bosco for so long. Like, if I could trust Bosco in a 1v5, like, I
Rampy
have
was gonna
no
fight me for
fear.
a second.
No, that's my boy.
I got scared.
You know,
I was like, dude, we got
never-
the same jersey on. Friendly fire. This ain't
Hey,
you aren't Vert.
I appreciate the support and love, Lax. I do.
No, absolutely.
Well, there's a reason why you're defending him so much. You guys won hammer.
And I picked you guys twice. Like, the people, the other analysts ain't picking you guys. I see the dub in the logo.
You did pick them twice. That's true. So if you're gonna fight, at least make sure it's for the right reasons. Okay.
All right, one more thing, Rampy. You got to get a window in that basement or something. It is grim back there. You look like you're in prison.
At least he can do his
So,
laundry.
You're in commissary right now.
I live in an old house, but I have the whole basement to myself because obviously I'm a very loud person. And when I was younger, my mom's like, we just gotta put him downstairs. So I got a desk in the middle of the basement to myself, and
I
it's very
respect it.
nice.
At least you
down
can do
here.
laundry right after, because I know those games
Oh,
are pretty
yeah.
intense. You can toss that right in
I
there.
did laundry. I did laundry yesterday, so we're all good on that.
I mean, I'm sure during that SSG game, you were probably sorting your laundry as, you know, Bosco was taking lead, taking charge.
Yeah, I didn't really have to do anything, you know. So it was
I love
nice, you
games
know. I
like
could
that.
just fold clothes. Yeah, it's nice. I helped out that last round.
Okay, okay. You can
God, dude, Bosco's doing everything on this team. You gotta find some way to fit into the meta, my dude. What's going on over there?
It is.
All right,
I
hey.
love this team. Everything we've done is it's work in progress, so we're not done yet.
Congratulations on getting those big 6 points, dude. Super Week up next on deck. You've catapulted into 3rd place for right now. Certainly hope you guys get the chance to stay there. We'll see you next week, dude.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys.
One of the most unhinged interviews I think we've had on the Hot Minute.
Why was that unhinged?
very.
Why was that unhinged?
Yeah.
Do I need to play the clips back about what happened?
Bring it back to me.
We're totally asking players, well, what's going on there? I had a whole question queued up. What's it like playing with your coach? But no, we had to talk about the basement ramp.
I had to address that. It is every time I see that camera, I was like, it is grim back there. That dude, no light makes it through outside of a computer monitor.
It's like we started the post show early or something, which, by the way, post show is coming up immediately after this. It's subscriber only mode. So if you want to ask us questions about how the day has gone, we will recap everything that's happened over the course of today and yesterday, because it was a really big week with a couple massive surprises thrown in the middle for no particular reason. So if you are a Twitch subscriber and you want to ask us some things, make sure to ask it. We will be back in just a couple of minutes to wrap up day number 6 of the NAL. We are now 66% of the way done with the regular season. Most teams are about 75% of the way done with the games they have to play. And we are now 100% done with play days with 5 games, or 5 best of ones in them, if nothing else. Which means when we hit the Super Week next week, it's 4 best of ones for every single game. We are smooth sailing. So we've done most of the hard work at this point. Welcome to the NAL Post Show for day 6. And, that's the only intro I really had time to come up with. Bro, I'm chilling. We're big chilling. I got nothing else to say.
I need something better from you. I'm a little disappointed. That was a little lackluster, in my opinion.
Bro, it's post-show. You want me to do better than
This
that?
is still
Games are
show.
done.
The game. This is still work.
Games are done. Now it's nothing but good vibes.
I'm big tired, bro.
Bad vibes.
I'm about to sleep real good tonight.
You've been hostile today, Glaxing. I can't lie.
What were you about to call me? Like, that was like...
I was about to say Gabe, but
Oh,
then I
okay.
thought, you know what? That's too formal.
Yeah, we ain't friends.
Yeah.
These guys hate each other behind it. You have to understand how
Refer to
much
me
they're
as lax.
yelling at each other in the back.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate scenes. Wildcard get 2 dubs. They get 6 points and hurdle themselves out the standings.
I'm so mad at Wildcard.
Why?
Because
I'm
week
not.
1, no.
Why would
Week
you- no,
1,
I don't care. I don't
Listen,
care.
You can't ask me why and then not answer. Week 1, I'm predicting Wildcard to pop off, right? I'm like, this is my team to make the major. I'm predicting to win like all of these games. They lose them all. They can't win a match to save
That's
their
because you
lives.
don't have
And then
my luck.
I finally show up to Philadelphia. I finally get on the broadcast, and I'm like, okay, I've seen Wildcard play. I don't think
And then
they've
you
been
lost
doing
faith in
very
them.
well.
You lost
And
faith
so
in
I predict them to lose 2 matches,
Right.
the Los and
Lost faith.
SSG.
And there's literally
And
two...
that's when they step up.
There's literally 2 W's on
when
the
they
screen
step
that
up.
fell into 2 W's.
I'm kind of curious what Jesse's prediction percentage was pre-Philadelphia and what it was post.
It's definitely better post Philadelphia. Because like
Yeah.
being able to see the maps and like make
Definitely. It does
adaptations,
make a
it
difference.
matters so much. So like I don't blame
Technically,
Fox
you
for
guys were
having
able
a
to
terrible
do that
day.
before because we
And
do
like
know.
realistically, Jonah was really picking mine. Like no one knows that behind the scenes. and
No,
I
he was
just-
100%
No,
reading
I mean,
the
like,
DMs.
listen, chat. I didn't pick those. Jonah picked them for me. It was kind of a little skit that we were
100%
doing.
debunked.
We didn't
I was
admit it
here
to-
with Jonah.
We
Laxton
didn't
was
admit
not.
it. We didn't admit it to the community.
Nope.
Jonah picked mine. So like my
Nope.
percentage doesn't really count. Like it's kind of like right now I'm just, I'm being realistic.
100% hogwash from the Honorable Gabe Murales. Here's standings
Don't
after
leave
we've
it
done 6 games, which is really important. Wildcard not only get up to 8 points from 2 today, they also win the tiebreaker over Space Station by beating Space Station, which puts them in 3rd when they were at the bottom of the standings when today started.
This still is not impressive to me because there are so many
Really?
teams that are still so close.
Yeah. There are, I mean, really, 6th to 8th, literally 3rd place to 8th place is 2 points.
Literally, one
That's
person
an overtime
one
win.
person can win and they immediately excel into 2nd place.
You don't think them jumping
Yeah.
dead last today? They were literally in 9th, and now they've jumped up 6 spots.
No, I think it's impressive that they got 6 points, but when you actually
Okay.
look at the standing itself,
Yeah.
it's like
I just want to make sure
everyone
the guys
is,
get credit. You also picked them.
I know. I know why I
Twice.
picked them.
And you're saying it's not impressive?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
they
it's
should
just
be
so close
performing.
right now.
Listen, I'll say this. I picked Wildcard because they should be performing this well. This is what should be expected because we saw the end of their season last stage.
Yeah.
And they had a huge resurgence from their performance. They were one game off of Atlanta. And then they came here and they have Bosco the GOAT as they claimed, and they started out horrible. So this is the performance that I've expected to see, and I want to continue to see. And if they don't make Manchester, well, you're bad. I'm gonna tell you.
He said it. We said the B word out loud.
Bad?
Space Station were bad though today.
PlayStation.
That's what the B
Space
stands
Station's
for in their visor.
Station.
I can't
That
believe
stands for
nobody's ever.
buns.
Nobody's ever what?
Yeah, nobody's ever seen the B in the Space Station logo before.
No one's ever
It's
looking at it that
sideways.
way.
I don't think it's a
But-
B. I'm pretty sure
well,
it's just a little game.
Everybody on Space Station also tweeted the standby to get some GIF right after the game was over, like right after the interview.
I love they do things
Like-
together. Even if they aren't doing things to win games, SSG is the most in sync team I've ever seen. Like
True.
they will work out together, they will strat together, they will go on like meal plans together. Like it's ridiculous the extent that
Those are
they
3 things you don't do.
yeah they are.
Jeez.
I
so-
could never be on Space Station Gaming.
To that
That's the main
point,
reason.
Good.
My-
kind of bigger
my-
than Fallout.
Shut up. Guy, I'm talking. My room at the Atlanta Major was right
This
next to
doesn't
their.
feel so chill.
Yes,
what,
Jacob.
What are we doing right now?
It doesn't feel so chill.
Never mind. I'm gonna just ditch my story. We're going to schedule.
Okay.
This is for day 7, which is also the first day of our 3-day super week starting next week. This is Wednesday. We come in a day early next week to make sure that this works out. We don't have any double headers. We no longer have any games that are reschedules from day 1, which means all of these are brand new, and it's only 4. We got short days from here on out, dudes.
Dude, I'm gonna pick Wildcard, and they're gonna lose to Luminosity Gaming. I'm telling you how it's gonna go right now. This is what's gonna be
No
happening.
faith
They're
in
so
LG.
mad right now.
They
They didn't even play.
I am
they didn't defend
mad.
themselves.
Can you tell your story though? I am genuinely curious.
Yeah, I want to know what's going on with Space Station.
You actually want to hear the story?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My hotel room in Atlanta was right next to their practice room, and I, through the wall, heard everything they would chant, everything they would scream at one another. Like, not all of it is stuff that you should repeat on a show. It's gamer lingo. We just kind of let some of that slide. It's just like, they were loud as crap, dude. It was so loud.
Are you talking about Space Station?
SSG specifically,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Which to your point, yes, they are all in sync, but they're absolute animals at the same time. That's that team in a nutshell.
nah, but there's still a roster that I've never seen that sort of team chemistry and like team bonding. Like that is
Yeah.
truly a brotherhood.
Even
on
with
that
like
team.
with Rec, didn't see that.
No, it's completely different atmosphere. Like SSG isn't funny. Rec is funny.
Wow.
Talented and
Tell them
fun.
how you really feel.
I mean, I truthfully, I kind of am a little envious of how like SSG like has that formula because they also work out together, and that's something that I like to do. Whereas like the Rec guys didn't like to work.
You were
out.
like the only one working out more often than not.
I mean, even you know, it's tough by myself. You know, I'm sitting there and just want to hit a PR, but don't have any friends, don't have anyone to
Don't have
support
any
me.
friends. Oh,
Gotta
no.
look. You know, it's grim when I'm in the gym looking around for someone like, hey, can you spot me real quick? It's awkward.
I
Whereas
feel
like
that.
if I was in an SSG atmosphere, it's like, oh, Ash, come,
Why don't-
spot me?
At LAN, why don't you go work out with SSG anyways?
It's intimidating.
I get that.
How surprised are you by Wildcard's and Bosco's performance today? You would say not surprised. Which one of you was like
Gabe knew.
really riding Bosco?
No, I knew this was going to happen. I didn't know Bosco was going to perform as well as he did, so that like definitely caught me off guard. I thought it was going to be a team effort or Kansan specifically. But overall, I mean, I'm not surprised by their performance. It's why I picked them. So maybe you can give a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised. I think there's 2 teams this week that like really improved over the time that they had off. I think we talked about Beast Coast really doing that yesterday, and now Wildcard have done that as well. These are both teams that I think, based on previous week's performances, probably wouldn't have gotten the wins that they got over, you know, today and yesterday. But they, in those days they had off, were able to work on themselves, study those losses, improve as a team, improve as individuals, and then come out and get really successful Ws. And it makes me very happy to see that improvement happening so quickly inside the early stages of the league, because now instead of having 2 teams that are kind of lagging around at the bottom and maybe probably not going to have a major run, now we've got even more teams inside of North America who are in great positions to fight for that major, to go to an international event and represent North America on the biggest stage,
Yeah, it's a fair
which is
point.
good because we need more teams to be doing that.
How do teams come back from 1-7 losses?
They don't.
You don't. You just accept that you just lost 7-1. So can't really just got to go to the next game.
I just understood they meant like
the game
overall.
after.
I'm like,
Yeah.
once it's 7-1,
Yeah,
the game is over.
You kind of can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
You didn't win.
No, so
Yeah.
let's just say in a doubleheader scenario,
Right.
if SSG had lost 7-1, which they didn't, but, you know, it could have been worse.
Well, let me
They've lost 7-1 now, so how do they come back for next week?
That's a good point. Yeah.
let me give my pro player experience.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
I mean, realistically, it's as simple as you just wipe it off, clean slate, focus on the next game, because the team that you lost to isn't the team that you are now currently going to go against in the next game. It's really that simple, but that does come down to a team atmosphere and whether you can get past that mental strain. But majority of the top teams can wipe off a pretty devastating loss and then focus on the next.
Let me deepen this question. Let's say it's a 7-1, but it's a little closer than the score would suggest. Maybe there's some rounds that have clutches or rounds that you have man advantage and it sucks because you lost it at the end because you couldn't execute, things like it's a closer game than the score would indicate. Is there ever a moment where you take one of those rounds that you think you should have won and it's like, it's personal that you lost it? If it gets to you internally, how do you shove that aside when you know it was your direct mistake that lost that round and contributed to such a bad score?
I've had even Oxygen when we lost to Sonics in the NAL finals. Like, if we beat Sonics, we would have probably ended up winning that event. I lost because I choked on Super, and then I ended up choking the round right after, and then we ended up losing.
Sure.
But it's, you know, you're only as good as your last game or your last round, whatever that is, and, like, it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, you either stick to that narrative that you're a terrible player or you're a terrible team, or you make the adaptations or you make the changes or adjustments that you need to improve. Like that's really the biggest thing. And if you allow that to consume your judgment and consume your play, trust me, you're going to find yourself out of the league very fast.
I buy that, yeah.
That's what I was gonna say too.
Absolutely.
That's how I've experienced it.
You telepathically relayed that to me.
Yeah.
Professional esports player Jesse J. Chick with the knowledge.
My mom thought you guys were both tier 2 players, by the way.
I think that's so cool. Like,
It blew my
And
mind.
she
Like,
was right.
I was.
I have played 2 Go4s in my career. They were both on Cafe, and they were both losses first round. So, yeah, I'm a competitive player, 100%.
How comfy's the
How
jersey?
comfy's the jersey?
I don't know. I got a shirt underneath it. I'm sure it'd be a lot more comfy if you guys sent me my own specific jersey with the right size. It'd be even better.
I put out a
And-
video on Twitter. I was like, hey, there are some people who don't have jerseys back up here yet. Luminosity actually is sending theirs already. I got that confirmed today. But we would also like merch. We will take your
Absolutely.
merch. We will take your merch. We will take your codes. We will take everything. So please.
East Coast, send me a plushie.
I'll take a Beast Coast plushie.
little
would be great.
dragon
I want to put a Beast Coast plushie back here. I want to put it on the shelf.
That would be cool. I
wanna-
would take it.
I want to put it.
If they put it there, then we steal it.
No, I don't.
Oh.
I don't. Stealing is bad.
I gave the game away. Sorry.
I know you already stole a solo cup, but now you don't have to steal a Beast Coast plushie. I just want to be able to
I
have
love
it.
how you stole
Legally,
lab
we
evidence
can't
from
say
Toronto.
steal.
That was
That
funny.
was that legally I acquired it.
Okay, well, you said you're going to steal that.
Yeah, but I haven't done it yet.
You did just admit to theft on broadcast.
No, I admitted to future theft. That's way different.
Conspiracy to commit theft.
Sure. Take that.
Still a crime. What team has adapted best to their roster? OXG. There's no
OXG.
question about this.
That was a
Well,
silly question.
Okay, hang on.
Oxygen.
If it's NA specific, it's OXG. If it's worldwide specific, BDS.
BDS has had a lot more time as well.
That is also true.
They changed their players like way before SI or anything, so they've had a lot of time to like hammer down the details with bringing in those cores of M&M.
What's BDS's record right now?
They're undefeated
They're
too.
undefeated, yeah. I think they've lost one defensive round or something.
I think they're because
they might have lost a couple since.
Europe's only played 4 days, so they're
Yeah.
4-0 right now.
Yeah, and I think they're nearly flawless on defense. They've lost like one round.
Okay.
So they've been crushing so far as well. They're gonna be some of the favorites for sure. But I think Auctions adapted really well to their roster change. I think Sonics obviously are having some issues. I don't think their issues are coming from their new players though.
No,
I've been surprised with how fast M80 as well were able to introduce so many new players.
Yeah, good point. I think if M80 hadn't had that 1 game slip, we'd be talking about them as best team in the league. Like, it was 1 game. It's 1 game difference, which is also the story of NA, which is literally just a 1 game difference. After 6 players, what teams have surprised you the most?
Beast Coast currently.
Beast Coast,
that
yeah,
has
I think
been a
so.
huge resurgence from them. I mean, from Nighthaven, they had excellent defenses, flawless defenses, and then on attack against, losing track of all the games, there's
DZ.
so much going on. DZ today, their attacks were flawless.
And speaking on that, I'll carry back on my hater arc, Dark Zero have surprised me the most. 6th place at the 6th Invitational, now they're genuinely looking like bottom 2, bottom 3 North America. Like, how does that happen? It's the exact same story with Team Liquid. I even tweeted this out.
I guess we can go look at it from a perspective of like teams that have been performing horribly, and DZ definitely fits.
Yeah, I mean,
he is a certified hater. He can flip the narrative.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it's odd that they have fallen so far in terms of the level of play that DZ are performing at. And I just think it's teams starting to figure them out really, really well. I don't think the meta favors them very well. It's a difficult spot to be in for Dark Zero.
Team Liquid versus Dark Zero, who wins? Oh
that
my
might
God.
be the game of the century.
I will say Team Liquid, listen, Dark Zero have had some bad moments. Team Liquid look so much worse.
They're not lost in the sauce. They can't find the sauce to be lost
What bugs
in it.
me most than anything with the Team Liquid, and I'm sure, you know, like, I'm gonna get flack for this, but
Will you?
yeah, absolutely. From Brazilian fans, absolutely.
Say it.
100%. Is I gave them all the credit at SI that they were gonna bounce back. They were gonna be
such a
this
believer.
team. And they are so bad. They're terrible. Like, they're actually horrible. But the thing is, like, the team is horrible, but the players aren't horrible.
We know they're not bad, yeah.
Like, that's the thing I don't think people look at. They just look at it as a team as, like, everyone is bad. But those players individually are some of the best players in the game. They just, in terms of, like, unison and being a team, they are horrible together.
I think Dark Zero strike me as a team who are like clearly struggling right now, and they clearly have a lot of issues to work through and they got things to figure out. But it feels like, you know, every week they're showing up and they're giving it their best shot. Liquid, I hate to say it, they look like a team that have just given up. They look like a team who are just like, this isn't working. We're frustrated. We don't know how to fix it. We don't think we can fix it. We're just waiting for the roster to unlock, which is so, I mean, I hope I'm misreading that, and I probably am. But it's like, that's the way that their play style is coming off right now. And that's like really, really frustrating to watch.
The thing is, it's very easy to dog on teams who do poorly,
of course,
because the record suggests they're doing bad, therefore we can talk about them being bad. The problem is, with a team like Liquid, there's nothing good to talk about. We will look for the reasons to be positive about someone like that. We'll look for the reasons to be positive about DZ, even though they're very clearly having problems they have to sort through. And it's not that we necessarily are looking to be nefarious about it. It's just that is the way the cookie has crumbled for that team. And once they do better and our perception of them becomes better, then we won't look at them and think they're bottom tier. That's just the current way that things
I missed everything you said, and I was more focused on
Me too.
What's the question?
I can crush someone's coconuts for them.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I can crush your coconuts. I can definitely crush your coconuts. How do you want me to crush them? With my legs or my biceps?
Chisel and hammer.
Or my little baby hands? I do have baby hands, actually. You know what I got called in,
Kenny Pickett
you know what I got called in middle school?
You get called baby hands?
No, I got called Whopper hands.
Whopper hands.
Do you remember the Burger King commercials where it was this? That's when they implemented the Whopper Jr.
I remember the Whopper
Dude
Jr.
literally could not hold on to a Whopper.
Oh,
and he had to have someone feed
yeah.
him, and like, I got called Whopper hands. I have baby hands. But these baby hands can definitely crush coconut. Your coconut, specifically.
Too Canadian for that reference.
Unfortunate. That or you never watch TV.
I don't think he watched TV. He said he doesn't like movies. He said he doesn't like TV
He
shows.
literally said in the back he
He
doesn't
said
like
he
movies.
only likes geography. Like, you know what's a
love
crazy statement?
geography.
Is that how much he said he loves geography? I was talking about like going into the deep dive into geography of like going into the actual seeing everything for what it is.
I like looking at maps.
You only care about the map
like
aspect,
looking
where
at
you see
maps.
nothing outside of a color and like, oh, that's what it is.
That's why I like Siege. I like looking at the map. I like dissecting how people move on the map.
Jesse, do you want to
But in that
detail
same-
what prank you pulled on Laxing in the back today?
Listen, I just sent I sent Laxing the flag of Australia, and he believed for about half an hour that it was.
I'm not gonna lie. I
was the flag of British Columbia,
I
yeah.
accidentally said British Columbia, and
then I went with it. I was like, yeah.
He
You
did,
said
he did
for a
100%
half
go
hour.
with it.
Yes.
And I completely just like was blindsided by this flag at quick glance, and I just went with it because
They
we
don't
were,
look
we were,
similar.
no, they don't. They really don't. And the fact was, we were originally talking about Canadian provinces, so it kind of just was like this quick glance, and I didn't really look at it that well, and then I kept going with it.
What do you think is on the flag of British Columbia?
I'm pretty sure there is blue. I'm pretty sure there's a stripe that kind of makes a cross, and then like a sun that comes up.
Okay, you know, yeah, that's
And that
not a
quick
bad.
glance-
Is he really close?
I mean, like there are stripes and there's a big sun. That's like the main.
Yeah,
thing.
well, the
Okay.
bottom
So the
half,
fact that you
the
get
bottom
that-
half is the sun, right?
The top half is the sun.
Is it, oh, I thought
And
it was
then the
bottom.
bottom is like waves.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
Which
I don't
are
know.
like
I looked at it at quick glance, and then like
That-
once he
that's-
said it was Australia, I was like, wait a second. And then I went back and looked at it. I was like, God, that's tough.
The thing,
tough.
the problem that I have with this is that an analyst on the North American League is just full up admitting he doesn't understand one of the countries that he's doing analysis for.
We never hear about him too much, anyways.
I mean, I don't think it's the flag of British Columbia is one that you need to know that well.
To be fair, I
analyze
don't know
Rainbow
half
Six
of the
Siege.
American state flag.
there might
so
be
I'm
a
not
new
one to
operator
talk.
coming from British Columbia. Who knows?
I think Frost is from British Columbia.
I thought Deimos was.
Nope.
Is Damus Canadian?
Nope.
Yeah, he is.
Nope.
What does that mean?
Yeah, he is.
Nope.
I have no idea where we're doing.
Yes.
That is it. We are all done with the post show. Thank you very much for joining us on day 6. As a reminder, next week is 3 straight days of Rainbow Six competition. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 best of ones apiece on the day. We get through Super Week, then we get to playoffs to decide which North American teams will go to the major in Manchester. For all of us here in Philadelphia, have a good night.